All right, good Sunday morning here up at TL Store. Over my shoulder there, Matt is back working. This weather has, yesterday, well, we got about 14 inches of snow, so they really weren't able to get much going on. They are up against the crunch with the weather. We are looking at really warm temperatures starting next week. We'll be running a little bit below our typical average high next week. So as we kind of look into the forecast, we got a good idea that we're going to start seeing some 50-degree days. The challenge with 50-degree days is going to be the ground softens up. We're not going to be able to bring the trucks in to really get the materials off the property. So these guys are working hard to get ahead of there. Now, what you're seeing is I'm looking away from it. So I'm standing here on the edge of the sports field or Copen climbing, and that is actually the Dan Beard campsite you're going to see right behind me. Now, you'll notice that there does seem to be some clearing beyond that. A few years ago, there was a timber harvest operation that was done here where they just harvested some trees and took those out. And that was done as a harvesting process. Now, we're moving into that area. We'll be stumping the trees that are coming out here because that's going to be part of the pasture area that we're going to have for our agriculture program. One of the things that I kind of wanted to point out is you look at some of the trees. There's this misconception, trees, we don't want to take trees down. Trees need space to grow. What happens is when the forest gets so dense like we have here, you begin to get a lot of tall, thin trees because they can't grow. They just grow straight up, they don't grow out, and there's these very thin trees. That makes a weak tree. Those are liable to come down in windstorms and something like that. And then there is a point in time where a tree does get old enough, it does need to be harvested. A tree has a life cycle just like a human being does. They're born, they grow, they eat. If they eat well, they grow well. If they don't eat well, they don't grow well. And then eventually a tree can die. So what we want to do as we're doing this program is before a tree dies, when it gets to that point that it's no longer capturing carbon in the atmosphere, and then it's the time you harvest the tree, and then you're able to kind of reuse that, as opposed to just letting the tree collapse down and take other trees with it. It'll damage trees on the way down. We do see a lot of that around here where, one tree comes down, on its way down, it damages 3 or 4 other trees, knocking them down, and it's unsafe. What we've done to open it up, and it's great to see it when the sun is out, we got cloud cover today, so it's not as good, is really seeing that sun hitting our soil and really making our soil nice and healthy. So we're looking forward to, as this continues to go on, and really some nice pasture land is going to go on here. As part of that agriculture program, we're going to have small little plots, and I've already got some people that are like, hey, what do you think about maybe we plant some corn here, or maybe we'll plant some beans here, or stuff like that. And it's going to be for our kids in that education part of them getting to see, hey, planting the seed, what grows up. People that are going to be most excited about it, it's really going to be our local wildlife, because it's going to be like we're putting out a buffet for those guys, and they're going to be eating it all the time. But we really want people to see this regenerative agriculture. No tilling in the soil. What happens when your corn is done growing? You throw another crop on top of it, always keeping the ground covered, the healthy soil. And then we're going to be able to see our soil here change over the next couple of years. The full program, we think, to really get that healthy soil in here, 3, 4, maybe even 5 years. But every year it'll get better. Our trees will get healthier. It's going to be a lot different here. What we're doing for the environment is actually a good thing. It may not seem it to a lot of people. It's like, hey, you're taking down trees. This is actually a pretty good thing to be doing for the forest and the environment. So we'll see what comes up this week. I know Matt is excited to get working and get ahead of the weather that's coming. All right? You guys enjoy your Sunday.